Hello guys, welcome back to Tech Project. So this is the ninth part of Notes app series using Firebase. So in this part we are going to see how to save a note on database for a specific user. So this part is going to very amazing. So don't skip the video and watch the video till end if you want to learn something great. So maybe the video length maybe get increased, but if you want to learn something then you have to give time. So now don't further delay, now let's start this part. So for this I open my Android Studio and you can see I left my previous part here where we create the design for our recycler view. So we will going to implement recycler view in some next part. I am not going to implement recycler view today because I implement the recycler view whenever I want to fetch the notes from database to our notes activity. So we will do this work later. So first of all we have to save notes on our database. So first I close this, I also close this, I also close this, and I also close this, which is our activity notes. So in this part we are going to work with this create note activity and activity create note.xml. So first we will design our how user can create the note, and then we will save that note on our cloud Firestore. So before designing the create note activity, first of all I need also a fab button here. So for adding the fab button I know what I have to write the code. So for using an icon on our fab button I have to import that icon inside our drawable. So I minimize my Android Studio and I am going to use these icons: edit, save and update. So update, the work of the update and edit icon maybe come in next videos. So first of all it is better if I copy these icons now. So I select all and Ctrl+C. I open my Android Studio again and right click here, then simply click on paste and click on OK. Now click on refactor. So these three icons implemented successfully here. You can use any icon and I take these icons from my Canva. So in my one video of 5 website for helpful for programmer, I will show you how to take icons from Canva. So if you want to know how to take icons from Canva, then you can watch that video. So you can add any icon, it is your choice. Now first of all let's design our activity create note. So for this I click on split and I minimize it from here. Now let's start writing the code. So first what we have to do, we have to simply change our constraint layout. So simply change constraint layout to relative layout. So I type here relative layout, then that's done. Now instead of title bar, or we can instead of action bar in our activity, I need a toolbar. So why we need a toolbar? Because I am going to use my toolbar as a edit text of our enter the note title. So for that purpose I have to remove action bar, and for this I have to use toolbar. So for using the toolbar I have to take a toolbar first. So I simply take an open bracket, and when you type here toolbar, it automatically shows as press enter. Now set the layout with match parent, and height of our toolbar is same as our action bar. So simply take and then question mark, and when you type attr, then height of action bar size, you can see. Now press enter. Now give any ID to this action bar, or we can say toolbar. So I give the ID name toolbar of create note. Toolbar of create note. It is better to give the ID name correspond to that working. Now we need a background color. So I simply set the background color white. Now close this. Now below this I need a edit text. So why we need a edit text? Because I have to take and enter the where we user can enter the title of our note. So simply take an open bracket, type edit text, then set the layout with match parent, height match parent. Now one thing I do a little bit mistake, I need this edit text on our toolbar. So I cut this the closing tag from toolbar from here. So Ctrl X and then simply paste this here, because I need this edit text on our toolbar. As I already say you, I am going to use my action bar as a title of our note. So for this I simply type this edit text inside our toolbar. You can see now it is fine. Now you can give any padding top. So I simply give the padding top 12 dp is fine. It is according to my design. Now give the text size which you want. So it is your choice. I give 20 sb. Now give the text style bold, and also text color which you want. So black is fine. Now give any hint which you want. So I simply type here enter your note title here, then any ID. So I simply give the ID name of create title of note, and then simply close this edit text. So now you can see it is work fine. Now it's all greater warning. So simply click on collapse empty tag if you want to remove warning. It is your choice whether you want to remove warning or not. So I collapse this and you can see the warning is gone. Now below this toolbar what I need a edit text on our whole screen. So what is the purpose of that edit text? If this edit text is going to take the content from the user, So for this I have to take a edit text here. So simply take an open bracket and type here edit text, then set the layout with match parent, text size which we want, so I simply set the text size 15 sp is fine. Set the background which you want, so I simply going to use my color code. You can use your own color code, it is your choice. FA F7, so this color is fine. Now set the gravity, so top/left, that's done. Now simply set the text color which you want, so I simply set the text color black. Now you can set any hint. I set the hint enter your note content here, and simply set the layout below. So where we need this edit text, in below our toolbar, so I simply type here layout below and simply pass the id name of toolbar, so toolbar of create note. So you can see now it is fine. Text size is also working fine. Simply give the padding to make it little bit attractive, so I simply give the padding 15 dp. So now you can see it is amazing. Now you have to give any id to use this inside our Java, so I simply type here create id name, create content of note, and then close this edit text. So now the work of this activity is complete. Now we need a fab button here. So after entering the title and after entering the note, then if user press on that button, then we have to simply save that note on our Firestore. So for this I need a fab button here, so it is better to copy the fab button from our previous activity. So I open my previous activity which is our notes activity, so click on it and you can see this is our fab button, so simply copy this. So it is better to copy this, it will save lots of time. So copy this and simply paste this fab button here. You can see now it is implemented successfully. Now I simply change the source. So instead of this source I need the source of my save icon, so I simply type here save. You can see it is fine. Now on the runtime this icon will appear here, so don't worry. Now also change the id. So for this I simply change the id name. It is better to give the different id name here, so I give the id name save note. So it is fine. Now everything work is complete. Now the activity work is complete. Now we have to simply write the Java code to save our note on our cloud Firestore. So I open my create node.java. I close this first from here. So before writing the more code of activity Java file, so first I again open my create node activity, and I forget to give one thing here. So instead of max image size 40 dp, I give the max image size 56 dp. So it is good according to this icon. So 56 dp is fine. So now again open your create node.java. So now let's start writing the Java code. So in my previous video, or we can say in my 6th or 5th part, I already connected my project with the cloud Firestore. So and also I create the database on our cloud Firestore if you watch that video. Now we have to simply write the code for saving the note. So for this, first I have to simply assign the XML IDs of activity create node into our Java IDs. So first declare some IDs here. So press enter first. Then simply take an edit text, because first we have two edit texts inside our activity create node. So first edit text is create title of node. So I simply give the ID name same as like activity, but I simply add an extra m. So create title of note, then comma, then one more edit text for create content of note, then semicolon. Now we have to simply take an action button for floating action button. So I simply type here floating action button and I give the ID name m save note. Then we have to take a Firebase auth instance. So because we want to save that note, we want to save the particular note for a particular user. So for this I have to use Firebase auth here. Then I give the variable name Firebase auth, then an Firebase user variable to identify the user, then Firebase user, I give again variable name this. Now we need an instance of cloud Firestore. So why we need this? To access the database. So Firebase, so sorry, I have to simply type here Firebase Firestore. Now give any variable name, I again give Firebase Firestore. So that's done. Now simply assign the IDs first. So m save note equal find view by id r dot id dot save note. You can see it is fine. Now m create content of note equal find view by id r dot id dot content create content of note, then semicolon. Now m create title of note equal find view by id r dot id dot create title of note, then semicolon. Now we have to store the instance of our Firebase. So before storing the instance, first of all we are going to use toolbar instead of action bar. So for that purpose I have to write some code first. So I simply type here toolbar, then any variable name, again I give toolbar, then equal find view by id r.id. And inside our activity create I give the id name of toolbar of create node. You can see it is fine. Now I have to simply set here set support action bar here, and I have to simply type toolbar, and this toolbar is different this id. So after this show an error. So let's see what is the error. So it say, you can see when you take your cursor here, you can see it say require type android x dot app compact, but I provide android dot widget dot. So I have to simply change the import statement. So I need android x dot app compact. So when I click on this plus icon, and you can see these are the import statement of toolbar. So instead of this I need android x dot app compact, and now you can see the error is gone. So this is fine. Now we have to simply type here get support action bar dot set display home up enabled, and simply pass true. So why this is? So I also need a back button on create note activity. If someone by mistake go on create note activity, then I have to give option to go back. So I simply use this get support action bar. It automatically implement a back button here. Now let's first storing the instance of Firebase auth. So simply type here Firebase auth equal Firebase auth dot get instance. Now we have to take the instance of Firebase Firestore. So Firebase Firestore equal Firebase Firestore dot get instance, then semicolon. Now we have to take the instance of our user. So Firebase user equal Firebase auth dot get instance dot get current user. So it will get the instance of our current user. Now that's fine. So first of all, for I simply override a method for using the back button. So simply take an override implement methods at the rate when you type this, and simply search here on option item selected. You can see now it is fine, and inside this I have to simply use an if else condition here. So I press enter first and simply type here if item dot get item id and equal android r dot id dot home. So it is by default id. Then we have to simply set an on back pressed. That's done. Now also we have to remove the action bar if we want the toolbar is work here. So for this I have to simply come inside our manifest file before writing more code. So where is the manifest? Here is the manifest. So click on it, and you can see this is our create note activity. So I press enter first and simply I set the theme. So Android theme activity theme no action bar. So this is fine. Now I again come inside our create note activity. So now we have to write our main code which will store the data on our cloud Firestore. So we have to write code here. So first of all, when we want to store the data on our cloud Firestore, so if someone click on save note button, so I simply type here m save note dot set on click listener new, then capital O, and press enter. Now inside this we have to write code to saving the data on our cloud Firestore. So first, before and saving the data on our cloud Firestore, first we have to check whether user enter something or not. So for this I have to simply check an if else condition here. So before checking if else, simply take a string for storing the title. So I give the normal name like title, and then I have to simply fetch the text which is entered by the user. So the id name of m create title of node dot get text to string. So it will automatically fetch the text which is entered by the user. Now simply I again declare a string for content equal m create content of node dot get text to string. So now we have to simply use an if else condition. If title dot is empty, or if something one is empty, then we have to simply display a toast. So both fields are required, and I simply type here content dot is empty. Then I have to simply display a toast. So toast dot make text, then get application context to pass the current context, then any message. So I simply type here both fields are required. So you can use multiple if else for title, for content it is your choice. I simply use one if else. Then our toast length. So toast dot length short and dot show. Now you can see it is fine. Now inside else, if everything is fine, then we have to simply store the data on our cloud Firestore. So we have to write the main code here. So press enter first. So for storing the data on our cloud Firestore, first of all we have to take the object of document reference, because we store the data in Firestore using document. So simply type a document reference, then any variable name I give document reference equal, then Firebase Firestore, then we have to simply create a collection of nodes. So be remember give the same name according to me. And if you not give the same name, if you give the different name, then you have to give the different name everywhere where we going to use this database. So it is better to give the same name right now. Now after creating the document of the notes, then we have to create the document for our specific user. So simply type here document dot, inside this bracket simply type here Firebase user dot get UID. We get the UID of current user, then we create the document for that particular user. Then we have to create the collection of our notes for that particular user, then which is, and I give the name my notes. So what is this? It is a cloud Firestore is work like a hierarchy of tree like structure. So first we create the document for our notes, like this is the document, like it is a book. Then we simply create a document for a specific user, and it is like a page of our notebook, and where user can write the note, and this is the document, last document where user can store that note. So by this we can simply identify the separate user by the separate notes. And at last we have to simply type here document, then semicolon. Now you can see it is fine. Now press enter first here. Now we have to create a map. So simply type here map, then two braces. Now here you have to simply type a string, then object, then note. I give the any name, so you can, I give note equal new hash map, then this brackets and then semicolon. So it does not import the map class, so click on it and press alt plus enter. Now you can see error is gone. Now click on it and press alt plus enter. Now the error is gone. So now we have to simply put the note, which is, we have to simply put the title and the content of the note which is entered by the user. So note dot put, so this is the map, we are going to use the object of map. Then I simply give the title here, because this is identify whether what is the title and what is the note, so I simply give the title here. So you can give any name, but be remember you have to change every time if you give different names, so it is better to give the same name like me. Then I have to simply pass our title, which is this string which is contain the note title. Then note dot put, then inside this I simply give the variable name content, then comma, then I simply pass here content, then semicolon. Now I have to simply store that note on our Firestore. Document reference dot set, inside this I have to simply pass our map, which is note dot add on success listener, which means everything is fine. Then new, then space capital O and press enter. So it automatically write the whole code. So after this we have to simply create a, if this happens successfully, then we have to simply display a toast note added successfully. So I copy this code from here of toast, then simply display the toast here, and I simply type here note created successfully. Then I have to simply finish this activity after creating one note and simply start a new activity, which is our main activity, which is notes activity. So new in start activity, new intent, and create note dot this, and where you want to go, notes activity dot class. Now we have to also set an on failure listener. If something wrong happen, then add on failure listener new, then capital O and press enter. And if something wrong happen, then we have to simply display again a toast, control C, and simply paste the toast here, fail to create note. So why this something wrong happen, let us suppose user internet is closed and something like this. So I simply type here fail to create note, and then we have to simply start this our notes activity again. So it is better to start this again, or it is your choice whether you want to start it again or not. So I don't think so we need to start it, so I simply comment here, leave it as like. Now simply add a semicolon here. Now the code is complete for saving the note on our cloud Firestore. Now before checking your app, it is better to open your Chrome browser and also open your console of our database. So I will show you live demo whether this app, how this app is working and how this code flow is work. So now I use debugging mode for checking my app. If you love system configuration, then it is better way to checking your app. So before opening my Chrome browser, first I connect my phone and I have to build the Gradle. So you can open your Chrome browser. So I successfully connect my phone, and now I have to press on run button and Gradle start building. So now our app built successful, and you can see it built in 4 minutes 33 seconds. Now it will install the application in my phone. Now application installed successfully. So before opening my Chrome browser, first I want to check it manually whether it is working or not. So first of all I simply sign in with my email ID and my password 12345678. Then I click on login. So I successfully come on to my all notes activity. So one thing I also want to tell you, don't worry, I don't add progress bar now, but I will add progress bar later in all activities after completing the notes app. So now it is fine. Now if I click on plus icon, you can see now this icon appears successfully, save button, and if I click on save button, you can see both fields are required. Now I simply add a title, first title of note. So this is note app tutorial, so I give this title and this content. So if I click on save button, you can see I get a toast or not. So you can see note created successfully, means everything is fine. Now let's go to our database and then check whether it is working or not. So I open my console window of in my Chrome browser. So you can see this is my project notes app tutorial. So I open it. So I already added a OneNote. So after opening, I have to check database whether it added here or not. So now I simply click on Cloud Firestore, and here you can see this is our collection of notes. This is the user UID which help to identify the separate nodes for separate user. Now you can see this is the user ID of 6S8. Be remember this 3 word first. So it is not possible to remember all line. So remember 3 words. So as you know, I sign in with my Brijesh Kumar Sharma mail, and you can see this user ID is matched successfully. You can see this is also 6S8 and this is also 6S8. It means our code is, everything is correct in our code, and we have we store the separate note for specific user. So now the code is fine, and you can see this is again a collection of my notes. So this is a main collection of notes which contain a separate user IDs, and now this is the collection of my notes, and here you can see this is the ID of every separate node. So this is note app tutorial, first title of node. This is the first node. Now I want to show one more thing. Let us suppose I add one more note. So what happened now? So for this, I simply again open my notes app tutorial app, and I am already signed in here. So now I click on plus icon, and if I type here second, then if I type here second content, and I simply click on this save button, so I get the toast of note created successfully. Now you can see on the runtime it automatically created here. So this is very fast, and this is the real-time database which is provided by the Firestore, and you can see this is second. So now if we want to access all nodes of a specific user, then we can simply use this ID to access all nodes. So now this is fine. Now if we have one more user, then we have separate user ID, and we have so on. So now the code is work fine. Now you can check this whole code is working fine or not with different email IDs. So it is your choice, but the code is fine. Now in the next part, we will see how to fetch the data from Cloud Firestore in a recycler view directly. So this part and the next part is going to very amazing, and the next part will be the most amazing part of this notes app series. And I guarantee you will not find a tutorial how to fetch data from Cloud Firestore into recycler view and in that easy way. So I'm going to explain everything in a very easy way in the next part. So don't skip the next part. So now this is over for this part, and if you have any query, you can simply comment down below. I try to give the answer of every comment. Please like the video and subscribe my channel for latest update, and please like the video. I make a lots of effort for your learning, so please like the video and subscribe the channel and share it with your friend. So thank you. See you soon in next video.